TRUTHSERUM podcast. I'm your co-host PJDRIZZLE. I just want to say welcome back to my channel, and I just want to say we have a new face for you guys for today. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, repost, share to all social media platforms. And at this time, I'm gonna give our guest the floor, and he's gonna say three things about himself for his introduction.
Hi, my name is Michael Hall. I'm from Southern Wisconsin. I was in the U.S. Navy, and now I'm a arena football player.
Thanks for your service.
Mhm.
Gotcha. So like, are you still like doing the U.S. Navy, or are you
No, I
on
did
break?
that I did that over like 10 years ago. And then after that, I became a college cheerleader. And then, I kind of like went through college, trying to figure myself out and stuff. Switched
Yeah.
from cheerleading back to soccer, 'cause I grew up a soccer player. And then I switched from soccer to playing American football.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it just became a passion of mine, and I just kept doing it ever since. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily see myself like necessarily playing in the NFL and whatever, but it's just something that I've done to not only stay active, but just something to just gives me a great deal of relief. After like doing a bunch of stuff every day, you just kind of need something to just kind of disconnect. And what I do in football really helps me have like that Zen moment where I'm meditating and I'm able to really, just take my mind off of like the other things that I have going on in my life. It's like almost like my refuge, truly.
Okay. Okay. Wait, just a little side note. You have good like data or Wi-Fi around you, right?
Yeah, it should.
Okay, because like, is this it's sometimes lag like when it's like a poor like a network connection.
Yours hasn't lagged at all.
Okay. All right. Um, let me see. Yeah.
Is
So
mine lagging?
a little bit, not too much.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So what inspired you like to do like college cheerleading?
Well, I came out of the military and I was just kind of lost. And I had a friend who, like, when we were in college and stuff, when we were in high school, that
Hmm.
like we went through some pretty traumatic events together and stuff. And, she really
PTSD.
trusted. Well, yes, you could definitely call it that. Like, we were in a car accident or whatever, but it really wasn't like, to me, that accident really wasn't like like a PTSD inducing event because like I wasn't really like, it was a very stressful event, but like it wasn't like I didn't get hurt or anything. So to me, it really wasn't like that big of a deal. Then I grew up riding motocross and, riding four wheelers and stuff. So crashing something really
Yeah.
wasn't that big of a deal to me. But for them, the other people that were in the vehicle, because there was like three of us that were basketball players, and then there was like three or four of them that were cheerleaders,
Hmm.
and to a lot of them other people that weren't as experienced with going through those type of situations, it was extremely jarring. And my reaction to it, to having to go through that stuff, was like as soon as it happened, right?
Hmm.
I called my brother. Um, I kind of like orchestrated for the scene to be cleaned up and stuff, and just kind of like help them emotionally kind of cope with the situation and stuff. And like we became a lot more closely bonded because of that. So then when I came out and I was the person having the hard time, when I came out of the military, that
Yeah.
they, really helped me. And, it wasn't the PTSD from the car crash. It was the things from getting deployed and then coming back. And then the shock of like, when I left the military, it was just kind of like sudden. I didn't plan to leave the military. Like I just came back from deployment. I had a lot of mental health stuff going on, and they just
Yeah.
pushed me right out of there. And so originally I went to school in order to kind of like learn a new trade and stuff like that, in order to like get on a different page and stuff. But like the the school the school stuff was very stressful. I only graduated
Yeah.
high
It'd
school
be
with a
like that. Yeah.
yeah, I only graduated high school with a 1.6 GPA.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
very
my
low.
high Yeah, my highest GPA while I've been in college was a 3 point. I transferred to ASU recently,
Yeah.
with a 3.8 GPA. You know, so I actually became
That's
way more
smart.
literate. Yeah,
Yeah.
I became way more literate and I became way more educated in college than I was in high school. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but the first initial period of like coming into college and, you know, shout out to UW Whitewater, you know, because they saw my GPA and they were like, well, write us an essay. I wrote an essay and, you know, they accepted me. One of the first days when I was walking in there, like
It
I
was
went
like
to
one of
the,
those college essays that you have to write, like, oh, so you get accepted.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like they asked for me to write them an essay after, like I already sent them some stuff in. They were like, you know, give us an essay and we'll see like if, you know, that's different than, you know, your grades or whatever. And like I
Mm-hmm.
just spoke about my experience in the military and stuff. And I
Mm-hmm.
put it in a way that was like really eloquent and poetic. And I really don't even really remember what I said, but like when I walked into the admission office to go check out my financial aid, like they
Yeah.
all stood up and they were like, we remember you. We all read it. You know, I was extremely embarrassed because, you know, I put a lot of really personal stuff on there, but it
Yeah.
like put it in my head. I'm like, wow, if I can figure out a way to become, you know, a better pontificator, a better writer, you know, and be able to present my story in a better way, you
Mm-hmm.
know, so then I really went to work on myself. And part of that going to work on myself was like going back and like looking at things like in high school. And I realized when was the best time? When did I do the best? Not like when I had the most fun, but when was
Mm-hmm.
I the most focused on my schoolwork? And it was
Yeah.
always when I played sports. When I played sports during that seasons, my grades had to be good, you know,
Yeah.
uh, because you're just held to a different standard and stuff. And then I also realized later on, you know, after studying the, you know, the body and stuff that, uh, it's also due to like the blood flow and, you know, having, you know, just having the outlet of the people and everything just in order to, free myself up, you know, emotionally and also physically, just like releasing the energy by working myself out. And I found
Yeah.
community in, you know, the team and stuff, but cheerleading really wasn't for me. So I just went on a journey to figure out like what it was in particular that would fit me better, you
Yeah.
know? And I took a break from playing sports for, I think about like maybe 2 or 3 years. And I even dropped out of school for like a year or so just in particular
You took
just
a
to
1 year
get,
gap.
yeah, I took a 1 year gap in college
Yeah.
just in order to really get myself on a way better track. And then once I felt, you know, the traction, you know, once I felt like I had rubber back on the tires, you know, I just let the rubber meet the road and I just took off, you know.
Yeah.
And I I was able to succeed a lot more, and now I'm about to graduate. You know,
Okay.
it really hasn't been easy, but you know what it's really taught me is that I can always do better and I can always get better, and that it's not always about the mistake that you made, but that you
Yeah.
learn from it and you just keep on going, you know?
Yeah. Like you went through like struggles, obstacles and challenges, but then like you really did the work, and now like you about to graduate soon.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
seriously. What's your major? Like, what are you going to graduate with?
A bachelor's in science and communication.
Okay, and then what do
Yeah.
you want to do with that?
With that, you know, I would love to be like a motivational speaker or some type of speaker or presenter. I love
Okay,
presenting and I make art and stuff and like and what I've learned with some of the classes that I've taken classes in broadcasting, I've taken public speaking classes, I've taken a lot of writing classes and a lot of research classes. So, you know, I want to study about things and then present that information to people almost as like a teacher or an educator, you know, and
yeah,
just really get people to kind of like understand themselves better and understand the situation better that they have going on, you know, which is like the human condition.
yeah. Have you start like have you like thought about like making like your own podcast?
Yeah, I have thought about making my own podcast, and me and my friend are like in the works of doing that. Right
Okay,
now, it's kind of hard because like I'm constantly moving around because of this sports thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's like the next step and stuff. Like I have a lot of lists of like books and different things that I would like to present and stuff, and that's going to be like one of my outlets and doing that. But I go live on TikTok and I go live on Instagram and I speak to the people that way. But then I also
Yeah.
do things like right now I'm out at this festival, going
Mm-hmm.
out and trying the local food, talking to the people, and just being an advocate for not only my team, but
And
for
networking.
Wisconsin, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
for the universities and stuff that I've went to,
Mm-hmm.
because I also was a college football coach,
Yeah.
so like going out and seeing like what other towns have to offer and stuff like that, and talking to people about their experience. People really like that and stuff, and getting to connect on people where they're at.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I see you got some food. Cause I don't want that food to get cold. Like, did you just get the food?
It's okay. It can get cold. Like I've already eaten all the best parts of it, and I'm about to
Okay.
go get more food because, like I said, I'm just trying everything and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What I got right here
Yeah.
is
What is
some
that?
alligator. It's some alligator bites and some jambalaya rice. It's got a little
Okay.
bit. It's got a little bit of shrimp in it. It's
Yeah.
got alligator. I don't know if you've ever had alligator before,
Never had
but
alligator.
sir, I would tell you, alligator is the best thing you're ever gonna eat. Get you some
Yeah.
of that gator, boy. Get you some of
Yeah.
that.
I'm
It's
all about
honestly so
chicken.
good.
Like I stopped eating like red meat. So like I just
Yeah.
like go for like chicken or like turkey.
Honestly, here, let me grab my backpack real quick. But
Yeah. I got.
honestly, if you like chicken, like you will love alligator because chicken is weird, is because it tastes like it's got the texture of chicken
Yeah.
and it's got like a little bit of fish taste, but it's not fishy.
Okay.
It's really
I
good.
like fish too.
Yeah. So if you like
Yeah.
them, if you like both those things when they combine, you know, it's one of the most beautiful things in the world. And
Gotcha.
honestly, I've never had bad alligator. Like I've gotten it all over the world, and it's been freaking good. Well, but it was a crocodile or whatever when I was in Egypt, but it's still
Wait.
really, really good.
Wait. You said that they cooked it bad in Egypt, or
No, I'm saying they had a different type, like they have crocodiles in Egypt. I'm not sure if they have alligators in Egypt. I
yeah.
tried that
So
in Egypt and Dubai.
yeah, and it
Yeah,
was
when I was
good.
on deployment. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was really good. The first time I've ever had it was in Louisiana, and
Okay.
like that was amazing. Like I said, I've really honestly never had bad alligator. I've had bad fried chicken. I've
Hmm.
even had bad fried chicken at a place, that like I've went to multiple times for fried chicken and stuff. But alligator, I'll go to some random place, and if the place has alligator on the menu, I just take their word that they can cook it, and they usually can.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
What's your background, if you don't mind me asking?
Um, like the background, like that
Like your
spray
nation?
paint.
No, the nationality.
Oh, my nationality.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was born in Wisconsin, but my
Okay.
family is Nigerian. Um, I have like bits of Nigerian, Moroccan,
Hmm.
um, a whole bunch of different stuff, even like a little bit of Asian, Italian, Irish. Like I took a whole DNA test, and like I have a lot of bit of everything,
Yeah.
even like some Native American and stuff, but mainly just West Africa and little bits of Asia and stuff, and then little tiny, tiny bits of Europe
Yeah.
and in like Ireland and in Spain.
You got it all.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
seriously. Like my
yeah.
background is just like Haitian American.
Mm,
That's it. I
yeah.
haven't taken a DNA test. Like I
You should
might
take a DNA
have
test,
like
bro.
yeah, I might have more, but like right
Yeah.
now, in the meantime, it's just Haitian.
The thing about a DNA test is like if you have a sister, like if you have a sister that has the same mother and father, you should have
Yeah.
your sister take the DNA test instead because DNA is stored more in females and in their DNA, and there's more genetic information in her. than there is in the males.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know about that. Like, I might do that later on.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's cool. You're from
Let's.
Haiti. A lot of Haitians usually think that I'm Haitian, and like every Haitian person, they like want to claim me for Haiti, but also the same for Jamaicans. So like I don't really, I'm like I don't get to. I'm like I can't choose between y'all, the
Mhm.
Haitians and Jamaicans. But I love both places and stuff. I've been to Jamaica, haven't been to Haiti yet, but I've been to
Yeah.
Cuba. I want to
Okay.
go to Haiti soon.
So you really be traveling like across the whole world.
No, that was like honestly when I was in the military in like 6 months. I went to Spain, Dubai, Bahrain, like pretty much all over the Mediterranean. I had layovers in India, Germany, Paris, and we also went to Portugal as well. And then I went to like a bunch of different places in America. And then since I played sports in America, I went to like nearly everywhere in America, pretty much,
Yeah.
except for Alaska.
Got you. Wait. So let me ask you this, because you said that the last sport that you're playing currently is American football, right?
Yes.
Is this like you know how like basketball has like AAU? Like, is this like is this like football AAU? Like where you're traveling and playing?
Well, when I was in college, like AAU, right?
Yeah.
AAU has like 18 different sports, right? AAU actually
Oh,
has
okay.
track,
Mhm.
soccer, a bunch of random things and whatever.
I
But
didn't know that.
like what I
I
play,
thought it just said basketball.
no, it has a lot of different sports. Yep.
Hmm.
But so pretty much like AAU is a governing body for a national sports league for kids you like 11 through like 17 or whatever, 17 or 18.
Yeah.
I never played AAU sports growing up. My parents didn't have the money for that.
Hmm.
Like that's the equivalent of like middle school and then up through like high school. They offer sports for kids like that. And
Yeah.
then um and that's like an alternative to playing for your school or whatever. I played for universities. So like I was attached to a university or junior college. And so like one of the first junior colleges I played at was Yuba Community College. But like when you're playing at those levels and stuff, it's like the equivalent of like there's really nothing I can really compare it to because it's like it's lower than it's lower than like what's the colleges that you see on TV, but it's
Yeah.
higher than high school.
Hmm.
And then like what you see on TV is usually like Division 1 sports, you know. And I played in the NAI division, which is like way lower. I played junior college and I played NAI sports, which is like, and I was a Division 3 cheerleader. So all those are lower high school, all those are lower college divisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, NAI, and then there's D3, D2, um, and then there's D1, and there's two different types of D1. Yeah.
Got you. And, with this, so like basically, like, is this like live? And then like, are you also getting paid for like while you playing American football?
Yeah, I get paid. I get played to pay. I mean, I get
Okay.
paid to play. Yeah,
Yeah. And then
and
it's also broadcast too, right?
yeah, it's broadcasted.
Okay, but it's not the NFL. It's its own thing.
No, we're broadcasted on Vice TV. You know, Vice,
Vice.
like they do the documentaries and stuff.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
you can watch us on Sunday and on Saturdays, Sundays on Vice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then
Mhm.
what's your team name?
My team's name is the Duluth River Monsters.
Got you. Got you.
Well, we
Okay.
were
All right.
former the Duluth River Monsters. Now we're just the Minnesota Monsters.
Got you. And then what's the score range? Like zero. Like the number. Like what's the ratio?
An average scoring would be like 60, 60, 50.
Okay.
Like our last game that we played, I, it was like the score was like six. We blew the team out. It was like 60, to like 6 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of these games have gone up to like the scores up to like 120 before, and even higher and
Okay.
stuff. You know, these
Wait,
games are way
how long
different
is one
than.
game?
I mean, for me, it feels like it's an eternity, but I think
Yeah,
they last for like an hour and a half.
yeah,
Dude, it's long, dude.
yeah.
It's
Because
so
like
long because
you
there's
said
broadcast
60.
breaks.
You said 60
Yeah,
to
it's
120. So
it's a
and like
little bit as long, but it's not about the length of time because the time it's like the time on the clock, right, is like
yeah,
45 minutes or 45, 50 something minutes, right?
yeah.
And then that's broken up into quarters. So each quarter has about like 10, 15 minutes. I don't really pay attention to that
Okay.
because I'm a field goal kicker. So like nobody get on me about that. I mainly just all I think about is kicking. All I think about is kicking the ball. That's all I can focus on. But
Yeah.
like the difference between NFL football and my football is our field is only 50 something yards long or 60
Yeah.
something yards long.
Yeah.
An NFL field is about 100 yards long. And so when a quarterback has to make a drive and he's starting at like the 20, he's got to go from the 20 all the way down to the end zone.
Mm.
So that's like that's 80 yards right there. When we'll start at our 20 and then we only have to go like 30 something yards, 30, 40
Okay.
yards. And
Okay.
then it's an end zone. That's like one pass most
Yeah.
of the time. Like the scoring happens fast. It's like bang, bang. Somebody just
Yeah.
scored. Okay. Now the other team has the ball. They just scored. It's a lot of back and forth, a lot of fast
Like
movement.
it's pretty easy like to score because like it's like a short field.
I wouldn't say it's easy to score. I would just say a lot of the receivers in this league are hard to defend
Hmm.
because it's just a tough game to play. You got really
Hmm.
thin walls and stuff like that. You got really fast guys, and also a thing that's different between NFL football, but it's also similar to Canadian football is that one receiver can get in motion. So one guy is already moving as the quarterback saying hike.
Hmm.
So like that really makes a big difference. Like imagine standing, you're standing still, and you got a guy coming at you full speed, and you got to beat him to a spot behind you. That's
Yeah.
hard to do. So like the guys who are able to get interceptions and stuff in this league, they're really dogs. They're really hard working guys, really fast guys. And I wouldn't say that like it's easy to score on them because of the work that they put in and the fact that like you know that it truly is hard to score. But you got to think about it. Some of these quarterbacks have played in the NFL. The thing about it is that in professional leagues, right? Everybody was the
Yeah.
best. They were not only the best in their town, they were the best at their college, and now some of these guys are the best in the nation. So even
Hmm.
though they're not playing in the NFL, they have the potential of of doing that, or they used to have the potential of doing that. You know,
Gotcha.
so it's just really like really high level of talent, a lot of speed, and guys just being really good at their craft and stuff. And that's why the scores on both sides are really high. And then some of that scoring is also done on defense. So say you catch an interception, you might be able to run it down for a touchdown because you don't have to run as far. So
Yeah.
defense scores more, offense scores more, everybody's scoring on each other, especially on special teams. Like we're getting a lot of points on special teams
Gotcha. Gotcha.
because in special teams there's more ways to score than in the NFL.
That like how long has it been?
Um, about 4 years.
About 4 years. Okay, and then it's still going right now.
Um, yeah, for now. I mean, I really honestly plan on stopping. Like, I didn't plan on playing this year and stuff. And
Okay.
then, this team reached out to me, and I really love it here in Duluth. And that really changed my mindset on like what I wanted to do. Going
Yeah.
forward, I'm like, you know, I'm not really for the past few years. I really haven't been like looking and searching to do this. I started coaching, and that's where I see my future in. But I believe in my talent and stuff. I believe that like I could potentially be an NFL player or whatever. But the thing about arena is that arena is way different than the NFL because the payment is way less, and the professionalism that you're provided, like the organizations, like the way the organizations are structured in
Mhm.
comparison to professionalism, it'd be like, you know, comparing like a local sandwich shop to Subway,
Yeah.
or a local sandwich shop to like a high-end ritzy dine-in. Really, that's what it'd be like, or like a large corporation or something. It's
Yeah,
hard to,
like what can I say? I forgot. Like I haven't been
but
like going to
it'd be like
places.
comparing, a local, like like honestly, like a local store compared to a corporation is like
Yeah.
really, they're both professional businesses. They both
Hmm.
got to file taxes and stuff like that. It's just that like the back structure of the business and what they're able to pay, they have more backing them.
Yeah.
The amount of money their owners have, the stadiums they play in, everything, the amount of equipment they have, like all that stuff, it all just comes down to money. They just have more money. They just have
Yeah.
way more money. NFL's been around way longer, and like the way that the business model is structured is different. In arena, we're coming for cheap. In the NFL, they can be extravagant. A ticket can be $500 or whatever, and people are gonna come.
Yeah.
Right here, we're selling our tickets for maybe $10, $20.
Hmm.
A lot of times, at the most, a ticket for this league is like $50. And that's on purpose because it's supposed to be affordable entertainment, and we're trying to work our way up. We're not trying to compete with the NFL. We're trying to be an alternative, be something that you can come and see. And that's why we also play out of the NFL season so that you have something to come and watch, during the summer times when it's slower and there's no other sports on.
Uh, let's get into the current events. The
Okay.
way that we do current events is a little bit different. Where I'm gonna start off with some movie titles, and
Uh-huh.
these movie titles, you may have heard them, but they also include some additional, like, I believe, it's like Pakistani like movies that they put out.
Okay.
Um, so bear with me on on those movie titles alone, okay? So we have to start off with Minions and Monsters. How you feel about that? Would you go watch it in the theaters?
Um, I'm sorry, what was the movie?
Minions and Monsters. It's a sequel to Minions 2, The Rise of Gru.
Yeah. I would definitely go see it. I know
Hmm.
that a lot of people around me are Minions fans and stuff, and they're fans of Despicable Me. And
Yeah.
like, if somebody asked me, like, if a girl was like, "Hey, take me to that movie," I would take them to that movie. Like, I went and saw the Michael Jackson movie. My
Yeah.
name is Michael, but I'm more of a Michael Jordan fan, you
Okay.
know, than I am a Michael Jackson fan. I still like MJ, but I'm a baller. I like people with the moves that's
So
on the
wait,
court.
when
I'm
you
I'm
said
not a big
that you
dancer.
don't, when you say that you don't like Michael, like
It's
you don't
not
like.
like I don't like Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay.
It's just that, like, yeah, I'm not gonna say I don't like Michael Jackson. It's just that I can't
Yeah.
appreciate Michael Jackson as much as people who grew up watching Michael Jackson dance and all that other stuff. The most I saw of Michael Jackson when I was a kid was the Michael Jackson movie that they made way back when,
Yeah.
and
The
like I thought
American
that
Dream.
was, yeah, and I thought that was amazing, and I
Hmm.
thought like it was really cool how his dad pushed him. Like
Yeah.
people think, I mean, I don't know nothing about their relationship or whatever. He beat him or
Wait, are
whatever,
you
but like
you're saying that it was cool?
this is what I'm trying to explain. Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
I had to hear you for the second time. Like he got
Dog,
abused.
like dog, like I got a way different mindset on that. Like I don't got a different
Okay.
mindset on his personal abuse. Like what he went
All right.
through, you know, it shaped him and changed him personally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, and I couldn't imagine going through that. But the Jackson Five, you know, the Jacksons was a really big family. I grew up
Yeah,
in a family. I had 13 brothers and sisters. Okay.
that's a lot.
And my dad was the basketball coach.
Yeah.
His starting five was five of my sisters.
Okay.
So I saw my dad, like when I watched the other movie, wasn't like, oh my God, Michael Jackson got abused. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I was like, his dad pushed him to be great. You know, I'm like, that's amazing that his dad had that aspiration. And then all of a sudden I found out the back story and I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of messed up, you know? And then I've
Yeah.
always just thought it was interesting how he navigated that and how he like dealt with that in his life as a man that died relatively young. Like it just really shows, you know, how people suffer for their art, you know, and that's like one thing that I like about Michael Jackson. And I learned that about like Vincent van Gogh and stuff is that like Vincent van Gogh, right? He chopped off his ear and he stapled it to a thing because he hated another guy. You know, he
Mm-hmm.
was mad that somebody else was getting the clout and then whatever. And then it was when he died, that's when everything became famous. In his life, he just lived poor and everything sucked and stuff. And Michael Jackson, he kind of had the opposite where when he became really famous as a young child, you know, and that was really hard to deal with and stuff. But I feel like anybody who likes being on a stage or being in front of lights, for them to say, like, I wouldn't have wanted to go in that direction, like, I don't feel like there's a lot that they wouldn't go through in order for that to happen. If you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Like, when I think about, like, my dreams and the things that I want, I'm like, I'm willing to do whatever to get it, you know?
Yeah.
So if, like, my dad pushed me or whatever, and that allowed me to succeed, then I would have been grateful or whatever. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that Michael Jackson was grateful for his dad, you know, but you can have like there's a thing, right, in spirituality, it's called duality.
Yeah.
It's like you take a coin, right? A quarter. It's got a heads, it's got a tails.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a yin, it's got a yang.
Mm-hmm.
It's duality. Two opposite ends, two completely different things, white, black,
Yeah.
connected. Connected though. What divides them is they have a very solid line divide them, a whole different complete side, but at the same time, do the same freaking thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so, like, that's why I can harbor both thoughts of like, wow, it'd be cool for my dad to push me like that. But
Yeah.
damn, that's crazy he got beat up like that. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
not okay. Yeah, that's not okay.
Belt to
But at the same time,
belt
it's
to
like,
ass. Mm-hmm.
belt to ass. Yeah, I'm like, that's not okay. Don't do that to your children. But you should want them to succeed, you know? And it's crazy that like that his dad took a chance on something. It's like, why would you even understand that that was successful? Why didn't you just want your kids to be like doctors or lawyers or something? You know, you wanted them to be, you know. But like I said, the only reason why I went to the Michael Jackson movie was simply because I was empathetic and stuff like that. Like it's not like I'm not into Michael Jackson, but we are in the land of Prince right now.
Yeah.
So just saying. I'm in Minnesota. I'm in the land of Prince. So and me personally, like the color purple and like just a lot of that, it resonates more with me personally, and it's what I knew. Like I've come to now appreciate Michael Jackson a little bit more and stuff, and I appreciate like Michael Jackson because just being simply named Michael and the fact that he exists, you know, when people think like Michael, they think about like special, they think about magic, because that man was like a magician, you know, he was like something out of this world. He was like an alien. That's how I feel about Prince. And I really didn't like understand a lot of the Michael Jackson stuff until I started looking deeper into Prince. And I only came to Prince because like I was studying like different bands and different things and whatever. And Prince played bass for I think it was James Brown or something like that. It was like one of those. There was like a whole lineage of like all these different bands that I was following, and there was a show on Vice called uh, Tales from the Tour, and it tells
Yeah.
like the family tree of like the Funkadelics and stuff like that, and about like how pretty much like every type of music, all the music that we have now, and like the styles and things that come out now came because of like a lot of the stuff that they were doing way back when. And you
Mm.
can really better like follow like where people's influences came, because it's not like Michael Jackson got his moonwalking out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a lot of those things were done by like people like Billy Ocean and whatever, and like things that like Prince did and whatever, like things that he played with like his bass and stuff. You know, he learned that from like Funkadelics and stuff. Like a lot of this stuff, a lot of these things were really old, and like now a lot of things that rappers use are samples, and like you learn about like who made who made that original music, and how did those guys live, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like really,
Like
it's really
for
cool to me.
example, Drake, I think he used it in one of his songs. I forgot. I think it was give me a hug. He used Luther Vandross, like
Yeah, exactly.
one of his songs. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like if you like that Drake song, why wouldn't you like the Luther Vandross song, you know? And then you learn that like
Yeah.
some of these things are even older. Even like a lot of stuff that Lauryn Hill did, a lot of those
Mhm.
songs were samples of original songs, you know, by other musicians that were black females that were really like groundbreaking people. And it's good to go back and appreciate that, because then you truly appreciate your favorite musician, even your favorite athlete. Your favorite athlete
Yeah.
had a favorite athlete who had a favorite athlete, you know? And if
Yeah.
you go back and you study those, then it makes you a more whole person, because you're not just studying from the guy who, it's like having like a taste and then you're going back to the source. Like you're
Mhm.
learning like, oh, here's the real ingredients that were in this food, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so next movie has Young Washington.
I want to see it because I want to know what it's about,
Okay.
because of the title sounds interesting. But
Yeah.
at the same
Just
time,
just
I've
based
never
on the
been
title.
on a
Yeah.
title alone, no. Because unless my history teacher's like, you have to watch this, because
Yeah.
that just
Like if you're being graded on it.
like, dude, George Washington's not Abraham Lincoln, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
dog, like that's, I don't know. He's never been a president. If it was Teddy Roosevelt, like I'd be like, hell yeah, bro. Like that'd be some crazy shit. Because
Wait,
that
you said
man was
that
like,
George Washington never became a president?
no, it's not that I didn't say George Washington never became a president. Well, I said that George Washington, George Washington was, I didn't say this, but George Washington, but now that you bring it something in the lines of that up, George
Yeah.
Washington wasn't the first president, but George Washington to me is not like, in my mind, I know he's an influential president,
Mhm.
but like there's a lot of things in his history and stuff, and I know they're not gonna present that movie in the correct way. Like
Yeah.
if black people made that movie, I'd watch that movie. But
Okay.
I doubt black people made it, so I'm not gonna watch that propagandist crap.
Gotcha.
Because like there's a lot of things like George Washington to the day he died. One of the last things he did, like a week before he died, right? There was a young slave that he had that she ran away like years before, and he found out where she was, and he was just still like she had been away from him for years. And one of the last things that was trying to do was get her back.
Mhm.
He sent one of his cousins to try to go hunt her down and get her back. And that
Yeah.
was like one of the last things that he did. And he was in the North and stuff. So like slavery was abolished in other countries and stuff. In England was getting rid of slavery. That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons for the Revolutionary War, is because they wanted to have freedom to keep slaves. So I don't really feel like they're going to present this story in a way that is true to the black plight and the issues and the suffering that black people suffered at the hands of George Washington, because they're gonna really think about him as like a northerner, and that he didn't really keep slaves and stuff, but he did. And then after he died, he didn't let the slaves free. And a lot of
Okay.
people believe that he did that. He didn't. He handed the slaves over to his wife, who lived for I don't even know how much longer after that. And then I don't even know if she let them free. I think she only she only let some of them free or whatever. I don't even know. I'm not a big history buff. I just, I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff like that, and have studied a bit on this and stuff and whatever, just to know that like I don't really fuck with George Washington. But but again, my favorite presidents would be like Teddy Roosevelt, Lincoln. I'm kind of iffy on him, but he's still up there. Barack Obama, just because he's black. And then George W. Bush had swag, and I like the way that he talked about stuff, and it was really funny. And in comparison to Trump, George W. Bush looks like a saint. So I'd have to put George W. Bush on that list just for the laugh factor, because he gave us a lot of great stuff.
Got you.
But no, I would not see that movie.
Got you. So what about this next movie? Is called Backrooms.
Just off the title alone,
Yeah.
no. It's called Backrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like thinking like what's going on in them rooms. But at the same time, initial thought is what's going on in them rooms. But then I'm like, it's the back rooms.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Do I really want to be there? Probably not. Do I really want to
you probably saw like a trailer for it, like online, like on YouTube or something. Like,
nah.
You never saw the trailer for that?
Mm-mm. No, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Is it like a comedy movie or like what is it about?
No, it's a scary movie.
Oh, for real? If it's a scary movie, I probably want to see it then. I like scary movies.
You do? Alright. The next one we have. I'm gonna do this. Just like for the sake of like just time wise, I'm gonna skip the Pakistani and Arabian movies. Okay.
Okay.
So the next one that we have is Lockbox.
The Lockbox, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. And then the last one we have, it's an old movie, and it's the 85th anniversary. It's called Citizenkane.
Yeah, I would watch that. I haven't seen it. I've seen just like bits and clips of it. I know it's a really, it's a like really pop culture influential movie. Like it influenced a lot of other things that I watch and stuff. So I would really like to see that.
Okay. All right. And so that was the last one. All right. And then the current events that I found on social media. The first one is woman gives man laxative and super glues his butt cheeks shut after catching him cheating.
Yes. First of all, free this queen. So many questions. A plethora straight off the back. Before we go any further, I'd like to let it be known this is my type of time. Look at my eyes. You believe me? Doesn't even matter. You should. Moving right along. Since when is this a crime? Couldn't even tell you if the story is real or not, because with all this AI and fabrication on social media, they're talking about this queen, this woman out here doing the Lord's work, got arrested for this. Since when is this a crime? Since when is it a crime to glue a fuck nigga cheeks together because he got you fucked up? Show me the law that says that. Hazardous at most. A crime? I don't think so. There's real crime afoot. Don't piss me off, please. A prank. A severe prank at most. Don't piss me off. This can't possibly be a crime. And if you want to be a grown man with your cheeks unprotected, unguarded, that's on you, boo. You must have it all figured out. Not only did she give you the laxative unknowingly, you put your guard all the way down and left your cheeks unattended. That's crazy. You get whatever you deserve after that. I mean, where were the cheeks at the scene of the crime? Were you butt-ass naked? Dead asleep? Slumbering on your stomach? The possibilities are endless. Either way, you were lacking. Now this one's for the cheaters. I won't leave it exclusively to men because women do cheat as well. But let me tell you something. Everyone's not fucking playing. You're actually lucky that's all she did. Because women go to jail for much more. Much more. Everyone's not fucking playing with you. You think you're gonna treat people however you want to? Do whatever you want to them and there's no consequences? Is that what you think? Okay, no problem. Stay right there. Got something for you. And hypothetically or not, being that he was in such a vulnerable state for an attack like this, and it gives they either live together or they've been together long enough where he would feel comfortable. He would feel comfortable. Just going to sleep like everything is peachy key. Okay, no problem. And that's men's problem. It will literally go out, cheat, possibly bring back an STD, and then come back and fuck you like it's nothing. Okay, watch this.
So how do you feel about that?
I gotta take my glasses off for that one. Honestly, I feel two things, man. I feel like one, like that was probably the greatest phrase or statement I've heard today. I mean, I hear a lot of people say a lot of crazy things, but like hearing you read that, like I was envisioning, like no Diddy, I was envisioning it a little bit, and I'm like, man, that woman, you know, she's a go-getter. You know what I'm saying? Because she doesn't just see a problem, she sees a solution, and she goes for it. You know what I'm saying? But as a man, personally, I'm like, you know, maybe you should have asked me some questions. Maybe we could have talked this out. Maybe we could have worked this out. You know what I'm saying?
Because she was probably so pissed that she just couldn't like really like have any words like to say.
She was shitty. That's what we call it in the Midwest. She was shitty. But no matter how angry you are, you know, gluing a man's butt cheeks, you know, you should just leave it to the proper authorities or whatever, or leave it to karma. You know, either call the cops or call on God. You know what I'm saying? For your enemies. Like, I don't really believe in like getting back at people, because when you get back at somebody, it's just gonna bounce back to you. So even though she might have been successful in closing up his butt cheeks for the rest of his life and whatever, and he might have to poop out of a colostomy bag or something, you know, like, okay, that you know, the universe or God or whatever y'all believe in, you know, is gonna bounce that back to her. And for gluing that man's butt cheeks, you know, there's gonna be serious repercussions. She might wake up one day and her, you know, vagina might be glued shut or something. You know, you never really know. You know, you never really know how God or the universe works. You know, but usually what you put out comes back to you. So, you know,
I like
that probably wasn't a good move.
Yeah, like seriously, like what you said about like people like taking revenge and like it always backfires like in their face.
Always.
Like I'm the type of person that like I don't really do revenge. I just keep my distance and I keep cordial. Like it's not like I give you the silent treatment. Like I just like basically like keep a fair feet against like that other person.
Yeah, you're saying like keep your enemies close, but keep your friends, or the other way around. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I believe in that, and like I really like since I was a kid, since I was like 13 or whatever, we've had we've had Facebook, and Facebook, when it first came around, that's when people really started doing the blocking. Well, for me personally, like my friends and whatever, like we had MySpace. You could block people on MySpace, but I wasn't on MySpace, guys. First thing I was on when I was 13 was Facebook. And what I realized is I could quickly dismiss people. And then boop, another person would come. And I dismissed them. And then bam, another person would come. So we get used to that quick, instant gratification, and what I've more came to realize was like, and especially with like my exes and with girls who just reject me, period, is like, if you reject me, dismiss me, or even just diss me, I don't need to kick you to the curb because I'm going to shine in the light regardless,
Yeah.
I'm going to be me regardless. So when I get up out my frame and I'm upset and then I change who I am, I change my behavior based on being upset with you, that's when you really win as the person who's trying to disrupt me. So what I do personally is I try not to be reactive to either people trying to get me to react or trying to be reactive to life. If you ever watch a movie with Bill Murray in it, you can take all of Bill Murray's movie scenes and he goes like this when he's walking. So like Bill Murray, it'd be one continuous scene of Bill Murray doing this. Just walking, because in his movies, he's always walking. And so, and like the thing about him, he's always like level like this. Level in his walk, but also level in his talking and in tone of voice. Sometimes we'd be like, oh, like that, like just making a joke of it, but he's not like Jim Carrey, where he's just constant facial expression, and then also like the yelling and whatever. If you think about what's that movie with Jim Carrey where he's like Dr. Doolittle or whatever, and he goes to like Africa, he's like, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah, Ace Ventura. So compare an Ace Ventura to to like Groundhog Day Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Two both very crazy characters, very sporadic. But the one you tell Jim Carrey in that movie, like, hey man, like the world's about to end. He'd be like, the world's about to end.
Yeah, like he'll go very hyper.
You tell Bill Murray the world's about to end, he's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
The world's gonna end. It's just so that's over.
Nonchalant.
Yeah, he's like, so that's over. You know? And so that's why like they say it's like seeing Buddha. And I see Buddha in Bill Murray. That he has Buddha qualities. And to translate that for you Christians, that'd be having Christ-like character. And when you have Christ-like character, that means you believe, you have faith. And a person that has faith doesn't let their boat get rocked. What did Jesus say when he was on the boat? Not when he was on the boat. Well, he did say, like, there's two different stories, right? With the disciples. There's one where Jesus falls asleep on the boat and they go on the lake or whatever, or lake or the ocean or whatever. And there's a big storm. And all the disciples are like, oh my God, we're going to die. But they're there with Jesus. How would God let them die in a boat with Jesus? And so then they finally wake him up and they're like, please save us, Lord. And he's like, why are you guys scared? And the storm goes away. There was another story where Jesus was walking on the water. Everybody knows this one. Jesus is walking on the water. He walks up to the guys on the boat. He says to one of his disciples, come walk on this water, man. Come walk on this water. And the guy says, I don't know about that. I don't know about that walking on water stuff, man. You can't really
trust him because, like, even though one person does it, it doesn't mean the other one's gonna do it.
Yeah, that's what he thought. But he said, but if you're a man of faith, then you should believe Jesus. You should believe that you should be able to walk on that water. And you know what happened? The disciple was walking on the water, but then he looked down and he lost. He got a little bit of shaky. He got a little bit of shakiness. And that story repeats itself over and over and over again in the Bible. You see people either like Job. Job was a man of great faith. He didn't turn. He didn't lose his faith. But there was people, but but there was disciples, after Jesus got arrested, and when Jesus, right before they put him on the cross, when they asked him, hey, are you followers of him? And what did Jesus say? When the crow strikes 3 times, you will deny me. And he did. He denied him, and like the Bible, is it's a very important book to me, but like that's why I brought up Buddha also, is that like I try to relate to as many people as I can. And I truly believe that like a lot of these things are one and the same, and that like being Christ-like, being Buddha-like, it's nearly the same thing, and that a person also can hold to faith in their heart, truly. I'm not a man of a specific faith. I'm just a man of a devout faith and about having a very strong connection with my higher power.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. In your past relationships, like, has there been a moment like where like you cheated and like a girl caught you like in that moment, or no?
Well, I'm gonna answer this question with a yes, and I'm gonna answer the question with a no, because like I've taken a lot of relationship.
Elaborate. Yeah.
I've taken a lot of relationship classes, and and the traditional thought of what cheating is a sexual act, or it could even be kissing. It's a physical action towards somebody, another person that's outside of your relationship, and that's outside of like the permission of your spouse, and that's a physical action.
Yeah.
But there is a newer thought on like what cheating is, and that's that it's anything that would violate the trust of your partner. And so like I did some actions that I believe that violated my partner's trust. It was a rupture of our integrity of our relationship. But me personally, I wouldn't classify that as cheating, but she did. And like it was.
So when you violated like the trust, like how did she react?
Not too happy, but like to me it wasn't like the action wasn't violating. Like it was something that honestly, like, just to put it like plain and simply, like she started changing the rules of our relationship.
Okay.
Like saying what was acceptable and what wasn't acceptable. And I didn't like agree to that at all. And she didn't give me any type of chance to. My house was in her name.
Yeah.
And so she just used that as a threat. She said, you have to leave here if you, like, my whole entire investment was with her in the house.
You was not trying to compromise in the relationship?
I was trying to compromise. I did the classes and, I gave up.
You just said that you didn't,
I didn't want to. I didn't believe.
You was against her rules. Like you was against the rules that
yeah,
she was,
for sure. I was against it. Yeah, for sure. I was against it because I believe that cheating is when you have either an emotional, because I don't have the same definition of cheating that she does.
Yeah.
So I either wanted to, like, even though, like, do you believe that jaywalking should be illegal?
Illegal or legal?
Illegal.
Yeah, jaywalking illegal, like, cause like basically like you're walking on the road and like there's cars going about and you could get hurt. So like that's why like they say that.
But do you see why? Illegal. But do you understand? But do you see why some people would like? There's like laws where you like can't have an ice cream in your pocket. Like you can't have an ice cream cone in your pocket on Tuesdays in Texas. Like I'm not even making this up.
That don't make no sense.
So I'm just making an example of a law or regulation, right? But like what you said is we live in a society. So I like your answer of yes, it should be illegal because dude, like get the frick out the street, Like who are you to disrupt traffic? You personally, because we live in a society. That's when you both make a rule, and when you violate those rules, you go to jail or whatever. But personally, like even within that, there's gray area. Like if you get arrested for jaywalking, you're gonna go to court, and then you guys are gonna deliberate about like, oh, the punishment should be this, the punishment should be that. You know,
Yeah.
like the punishment and the crime did not justify it. Like, you know, and at the same time, I'm sorry, I had to grab this charger. But at the
No, you
same
good.
time, like what I felt like was, you know, that I was like a shiny object to her, and that violation of her trust, which wasn't a violation before, it just became, we were together for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, for 5 years, it wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it becomes an issue.
Okay. And
And that was like,
that was after she caught you cheating, or that was like
no, it's before.
before?
That was before. And that's what I'm gonna just say it. So what the cheating was like having like women on Instagram and stuff, and just like looking at like porn and stuff. Like honestly, I really like, I get like, I was like touchy around the subject, but and that's because honestly, porn kind of gives me an ick and stuff like that. But sometimes you get into some situations where you don't want to get an STD, you don't want to go outside your relationship, but the person you're with, you know, you just lose that physical, you know, whatever. And
attraction.
It wasn't that I did. It's not that I lost attraction. It just honestly, like, it was that our sexual compatibility was not the same. Our sexual appetites were not the same.
Okay.
And so, and I don't think that it was because it was that we had just completely different ideas on what we wanted to do in the bedroom. It was that, like, she truly thought that, like, when I left the house, that, like, I was getting, like, mobbed on by girls and stuff like that and whatever, which is completely not true. You know, like, I was very focused on coaching football and, like, doing other stuff in my life and just kind of just getting my life on track.
She was being insecure.
She's being insanely insecure, man. Like, she was being insanely insecure, being extremely controlling. And, like, I tried to comply and give her as much control as I could with the relationship. Like, I truly believe in making a woman feel secure emotionally, spiritually, just like any way that they need to, for them to feel the most comfortable around you. But it just kept on going to, like, way out of left field. Like, I tried to comply with everything that she wanted me to do. Like, she wanted to put monitors on my phone. She wanted to put, like, trackers and stuff on my phone and in my car.
Nah.
And she had all my passwords. She had one of my iPads, so she could literally just go on every app and see, like, who I'm messaging, what I'm saying to them, and whatever. I said, girl, you can take that. You can have all that. You can do all that. I'll stop watching the porn, all that stuff. You can have everything that you wanted. And then I started going to addiction classes, going to relationship classes, reading relationship books. Shout out to Robert Weiss, and you know, is great teaching, and a great book that if you guys want to read it, that if you guys have problems in your relationship, read Out of the Doghouse, because that really restored my faith, like, in humanity. Honestly, it is not only Robert Weiss and his group, and his group is about like navigating relationships and stuff, and they do couples counseling at the institution is called Seeking Integrity, and some of their services are free. They have a free men's group that meets like nearly every day, and they have relationship groups and stuff. They also do relationship counseling and stuff, and we did go to relationship counseling, and that was one of the greatest things for me because I learned about relationships. I learned about safety. I learned about integrity and stuff. And I learned about, like, being an empathetic man. And I really became a lot more empathetic, and I grew as a person and stuff. And I'm glad that I was challenged in that way. You know, I don't regret having that relationship. I don't regret her leaving and stuff like that. And I don't regret her challenging me and whatever, but it was just too much. Like, obviously it was too much and it was manipulative and stuff like, and that, again, that's duality. You know, it's two opposite ends of the coin where I can take the good and I don't have to accept the bad. It wasn't all, it wasn't all, great, and it wasn't all too terrible. Like, I learned some stuff, I grew, and my next relationship is going to be great because of it. And I don't wish that girl any like ill will or anything. But yeah, she was just being insanely manipulative, insanely controlling, and she's extremely insecure and like needs help for that. Like, I don't more help than what I could give. Like, I was paying her like $3,800 a month, and she didn't feel like that was enough money.
Okay. All right. So we have for the next current event, basically, Raven Simone confirming that there will be a Cheetah Girls 4, the next gen. That's gonna be the title. Cheetah Girls 4, the next gen, and it's officially in the works. All right, and for the last current event that I have is called Main Character Energy. So basically, social users on social media are sharing the Netflix documentary. They be featured, and we have people, for example, like Morris Chestnut and Candy Burris and other people. So, for this last current event, I want to ask you if you had your own Netflix documentary that you would be featured in, what would be the title?
Um, Trying to be upright between the uprights,
Okay. Okay.
because like there's a lot of things in life where you're challenged and you have to choose like what your character is going to be, and then there's times when there's people that like they tell you who you are, and you have to just stay straight. In football, we have what's called the uprights, and if I look at the one post or if I look at the other post, that's not where I want to be. I want to be right down the middle, you know.
Yeah.
I want to try to be upright, and it's funny that they're called uprights. You want to be upright. You want to stand tall. You got to stand tall to kick the ball, to make the ball go straight through. You know, you don't want to be leaning to one side. You don't want to be leaning to the other way. You got to be standing up tall. You got to have a straight spine, you know? And that's how I feel like in life is that you have to have your character, have your value system, and don't move from that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't change. Don't play down. Don't play up to other people. Don't placate to other people, but truly be yourself and to be upright. Whatever you believe that is, you know, whatever you believe your morality to be, because at the end of the day, your karmic debt is your karmic debt. You know, the price that you're going to have to pay the karma, the price that you're going to have to pay when you go and see God. And he asks you, well, what'd you do for me, my servant? You know, he's either going to say, I know you not, you know, he's going to let you into heaven, or he's going to say, yep, come on in, you know, if that's what you believe in or whatever. But, you know, the alternative to that is, you know, you thinking bad, being bad, and bad coming back to you through karma.
Okay, I like that. I like the response. All right. All right. So let's get into the podcast title and the podcast number. And I did forget to mention this in the introduction. To also check out the podcast YouTube channel for episodes right now, episodes 87 and 88. All right. So
Okay.
for this podcast, this is titled Relationships, and this is episode 89. So we're gonna get into early dating and situationships. So for the first question I want to ask you is, what shaped how you first saw love and romance?
I would probably say either Disney Channel or my parents.
Okay. Why?
You know, those were the two big influences when I was a kid. Because when we were children, like, there was a lot of shows, a lot of things that, like, it would be like all of a sudden this kid has a love interest up out of nowhere. You know, like, it didn't really matter, like, what the movie was about on Disney or whatever. It was like two little cutesy kids eventually, like, finding love, or the boy, like, not actually getting with the girl. Is he gonna get with the girl and stuff like that? And honestly, what I figured out from that, and then comparing that to my parents were married for, like, I mean, they've been married for like 40 something years.
That's a lot. That's a long time.
Yeah. And, you know, what I learned is just compromise, honestly. There's some things you can compromise, there's some things you can't. And when you can't compromise, leave. And that's what I should have done in my last relationship, you know, was just leave. But, like, what I'm looking to do is find mutual trust and understanding. So find trust by coming and meeting you where you're at and where you want to be. If I find somebody and I'm like, hey, I like this, but you like that, I want to meet you right here in the middle. Are you gonna come to me? And I'm gonna come to you, because I'm gonna definitely try things your way, 110%. But I would like you also to hear me out.
Okay. Next question. If you could ask your partner to be in a committed relationship today, what's stopping you?
Have the availability of a partner that I would find suitable to be with a long term. I would never ask somebody to be committed to me. I would just merely wish them to be. As a person that's been engaged a few times, I'm done asking and begging for you to marry me.
Wait, you been engaged before?
Yeah, I've been engaged twice.
Okay.
Yeah. And
what happened in those engagements?
and the last one, like I said, that we lost relationship integrity. So, like, we both changed as people, and what we both thought of as cheating changed to where cheating
that
wasn't
was the
just
same girl?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cheating wasn't just having either an emotional relationship, like a real connection with a person. It was cheating was, you're cheating with me, or you're cheating against me, or whatever, if you're even looking at a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's ridiculous. Like, I'm like, okay, I'll stop. But then
Yeah,
after I
to
stop doing
some
that,
females,
like,
yeah, looking at other females is like cheating. Like it's weird, but like I guess like you can't even look at your own mother. Like your mother's a female, so like how is that gonna be cheating?
bro, I had a woman one time, right?
Yeah,
The last one was bad. I lost my house because of that, you know, whatever, manipulation, whatever. I'm
yeah.
not tripping over that. Girl, you can keep the house.
Mm-hmm.
I had a girl stab me in my eyeball right here.
Oh my god.
I got a phone call, and I had just been at my aunt's house the day before. I'm adopted, so I don't
Yeah.
know a lot of my family. I had just met my aunt. My aunt has a
Okay.
daughter.
Yeah.
She said, my daughter Money is coming to the house tomorrow. My girl was right there with me, right? She heard
Yeah.
me say all this stuff. Brother, the next day we wake up, it's her birthday. We had broken up the night before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, we made an agreement. We're like, well, we'll still be friends. You can still live here. She was about to go to college in like 2 or 3 weeks. The college was like right down the road. We were going to move her into the dorms, all that. Her grandmother just bought her a brand new car. She was set to go. You know, we're about to break up. She's about to go in one direction. I'm about to go another direction. She says to me, for my birthday, can you come with me to my grandmother's? I'm like, I don't want to go. And
Okay.
then after that, my cousin calls me on my phone. She hears my cousin's voice, and my cousin says, "Hey, what's up, cousin? It's just gonna be me and you sitting here drinking and smoking all day, and we're gonna have fun." And all this other stuff, and like she hears that on my phone, right? And so she thinks like, "Oh, you're gonna go be with some girl now that we're done or whatever." And she got into like she got real bad, runs down the hallway. I hear her grabbing something out of the kitchen or whatever, and then she goes into the bathroom and she slams the door.
Yeah.
And when she slammed the door, the whole door came off the hinge.
Oh man. She
And
fucked
that made me
you.
yeah, she was a cheerleader.
Okay.
And so that I got up and I was just like, whoa, like
Like you heard the commotion, and then you want to know like what was going on.
I already knew what was going on. I knew some bad stuff was going on. I'm just trying to tell her like, yo, calm it down because the landlord was already on our butts and saying that he was going to kick us out because I was living at my sister's house and my sister had not, when I came out the military, right? They did not, they said, you can move into your sister's house. My family did. And
Yeah.
they did not tell me how my sister was living.
Mm-hmm.
They did not tell me the conditions. My sister hadn't taken a bath in like a month.
Oh, that's bad.
Her whole fridge was full of moldy food.
No.
She was living in a trailer and she hadn't paid the rent in like 3 or 4 months. I came home and I paid that crap, you know? I just wanted to live in a nice house or whatever. That other girl, the girl that I was with, she was struggling. So I was like, all right, you can come move in with us. We hadn't been in a relationship really that long. But
Yeah.
I was just trying to, you know, help her out and stuff like that. Our relationship, honestly, it was really toxic. So that's why we broke up the day before her birthday. You know, this is the first
Yeah.
time I had ever like really like made separation towards a person, but like we had already been going on and off for like 5 years of that, or 3 or 4 years at that point with that girl. So
Yeah.
like it wasn't work multiple times. It just didn't work. Just didn't work. Just didn't work. She's in jail right now for grabbing a police officer's gun and assaulting a guy that she was stalking.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Look at what like got her into that. Like you don't grab a police officer's property. Like, you just don't do that.
She wrestled him to the ground, dude. And she took
She
his gun.
wrestled a whole police officer.
Yeah.
How big?
Yeah. I want you to guess first. I want you to guess. Please guess. Yo, we be on the same page. I want you to guess how big you think this girl is.
The girl, damn, like
I'll tell
You
you how
said that
much she weighs.
she also did cheerleading too, right?
Yep, she was a cheerleader.
Like I would say, 180.
You said 5'4"? Dude, she was like 4'10" or something like that.
Wait, pounds?
Oh no, weight wise, she's like 120 pounds. She's like 115
Okay.
pounds.
Okay.
But like height wise, she's only like 4'10", and she
Yeah.
wrestled the police officer. Like she's put me to sleep like multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, dude, she's strong. She should have done like MMA or something.
How much do you
But
weigh?
I'll weigh from like 185 to 190. It just
So
really
you're bigger than
depends.
her.
Bro, I'm 5'11". Yeah, I'm way bigger than her, dude.
Yeah. So like, how'd you get like put to sleep like multiple times by her?
And I'm trained, bro. Like, she's just tough. She's just tough.
Mm-hmm.
She's a tough little girl. Like, that's really one of the things I admired about her, was that her strength, not only physically, but emotionally. Yeah. And like, even though she's stabbing my eye, I still admire her and stuff like that. I just will never be with her. I'll never conversate with her probably ever again, because we're real toxic for each other and whatever. But like, it's the things that she went through as a child, which I'm not going to disclose,
You don't have to know.
She went through a lot of really traumatic events. And because both of us lost our mother, that's why we were related when we were really young. And I didn't appreciate that for what it was when we were young. So then when I was older, I was trying to play catch up and be like, oh, I'm sorry, But the time I'd already passed that we could have had, and I just didn't see that until I literally couldn't see,
Mm.
Yeah.
Next question. What is one green flag you used to ignore that you now consider a deal breaker?
Everything. Like,
Elaborate.
literally, I would just like ignore it. Yeah. Literally, like, if you were hot, I would just ignore everything. Like, I'm like, if you tell me you love me and you're hot, and you treat me with a certain level of care, and if I could feel safe with you, then yeah, like, you got me, and I would ignore every single red flag. And I didn't even know really what a red flag was. And that's why I'm glad I went through the classes with this other girl, because it just really made me understand like what safety was, because I would just be in relationships and I'd be feeling weird feelings and stuff. And I'd just be like, I'm just going to ignore that anxiety and whatever, like, I'm just going to be like, oh man, she just cheated on me like 3 or 4 times, but like, it's whatever. Like, the girl who stabbed me in my face cheated on me like freaking 10, 20 times before I was like, okay, this is an issue,
Yeah. So it took over 10 times for you to like find out, like, to have a realization.
Yeah, it took me a lot of times before I had a realization, because I didn't really like understand it was a problem. Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh, it's cool, you're cheating on me. And I didn't even know like all the times that she was cheating on me when she was cheating on me. I thought it was just one time or whatever, but she was just doing it constantly. But like the cheating, it was an issue, but it wasn't an issue. Like, everything, like, there's like a lot of behavior and stuff that I was ignoring that would have showed me signs of the cheating. There's should have showed me signs that it didn't compatible. I mean, of course I was pissed. Of course I was pissed. And I was pissed, and I wasn't doing the right thing about me being pissed. I should have just left those people alone. But instead, I'm like, oh, let's work it out and whatever. Honestly, personally, after going through relationship counseling, I would seriously think that, like, if you guys are at the point where you're thinking about it, that's when you break up.
Yeah.
And anytime you're like, I don't, like, if you're, there's a lot of partners that they wouldn't mind, like, you watching porn or whatever, but, like, you and your partner need to be on the same page about everything. And you need to be honest with your partner about everything. And
Absolutely.
when you feel like you cannot tell your partner something, that's when that person should not be your partner. And that's what happened in both of these relationships, where there was things that we both were harboring within ourselves and just not being true to ourselves and not being true to the other person. So both ourselves and the other person were losing out. And so, yeah, you say you're cheating on your partner, but you're really losing out on yourself personally. And so you got to do those selfish things to not only help that other person. If you truly love them, leave them. You know what I'm saying? If you're not equal to be with them. Like, I really have that for women that I'll never see in person again. But I'm like, wow, she got married, she just had a new kid. Like, that's beautiful for her, but I don't want to be with her. And I can still love and appreciate her, like, as a friend or like as a sister or whatever. You know, it feels almost like a cousin at this point. But like, I understand that like our relationship can't be what I envisioned it to be. But the fact that I saw something in this person, that's something I'm not going to deny. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, she cheated on me, so she's just an evil person. Oh, things didn't work out with me and her, so she's just an evil person. I must be a bad person. No, we're just not compatible people. And when you see that as not being compatible, well, don't blame the other person either. Just realize y'all are not compatible. You don't have to hate your ex. Like you said, you don't have to hate an enemy either. You just have to be like, I don't like that dude, so, you know, I'm not going to move with him. I got a guy on my team right now that 5 years ago, he jumped in one of my girls' DMs.
Oh, he broke the bro code.
Yeah, he broke the bro code, you know what I'm saying? But we're in the new day and age, you know? You know what I did when my girl told me that? I laughed, bro. I'm like, you like him? Go be with him. You know what I'm saying? That man bald and stuff. You know, like he's like way older than me.
Do?
I'm like, there ain't really nothing I can do. I'm not gonna about to fight him or nothing like that. A man jump in your DMs, you don't even need to tell me. Unless you're gonna tell me to go leave and be with him. I don't care. You're at my house, you know, in my bed and stuff like that. And so I'm secure enough as a man, I'm like, all right. But me personally, if I know you're somebody's girlfriend, I know you're somebody's wife, I'm not trying to talk to you. I'm not trying to entertain that. I'm trying to have you, I'm trying to respect what you have with them and whatever. And I appreciate that because that's what I want done for me. I want respect, so I got to give respect. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and
look,
so
sometimes like with these like couples, like you never know like if somebody's like in another relationship because like you could like say for example you could find somebody on Instagram and then like you could like talk on their DMs and then the whole time you could be talking to the boyfriend.
Yeah. Bro, I was at a freaking restaurant. Bro, I was at a freaking restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And like I was talking to this girl, we're having a good conversation. I'm like, oh yeah. We're laughing and stuff like that, bro. Yeah, so I was downtown in Phoenix and I was talking to this girl for like a while, right? And everything was going good. And I start talking to her, like I'm like asking her for her number. And as I ask her for her information, I like turn my head and notice like, I'm like, damn, like there was a guy there the whole entire time, like right next to her. I didn't even notice it. And then I look down, bro, I realized they're holding hands, dog. And she's like, I got a husband.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, and then like a dude gets.
How did you not see the dude?
Like we was at a bar and it was like I saw him, but like I take friends there and stuff like that. I was there with my friend. My friend was like near me, and it didn't like it doesn't. There's so many guys and girls like mingling and stuff like that you don't expect somebody to go there like with their significant other, honestly.
Yeah,
and so I wasn't.
That's what couples like do like now. Like some of them like they will like take their partners like to the lounges, the clubs, like the bars, like anywhere. Like I feel like those places like it's only for single people. You don't need to bring your couples, like because like.
Well, you know, like, I feel like there's some places. I feel like there's some places where there are, and there's some places where there's not. You know, like there's some bars and whatever, some lounges, but honestly, bro, like a lounge in a club is not for going out with your girl. Like,
No,
what are
like
you talking about? Like, like we live in such a strange society where people, one, they want to go out too much, and then when they go out, they ain't doing nothing. They
mhm,
ain't doing nothing fun, and they don't even really
yeah,
even know how to have fun.
yeah,
You know, like Jamie Foxx said this thing. He was like, "I'll show you to have the time of your life for $60." He's
mhm,
like, $60, I'll throw the craziest party you've ever seen. And he
yeah,
told that to like people like P Diddy or whatever. He's like, "Bro, you're throwing this party." And yeah, like Diddy's a crazy, terrible person, whatever. But
yeah,
the point was that the parties were expensive, guys.
yeah.
The parties, the weird, crazy parties they was throwing, because the parties he went to jail for, those are the after
The free
parties of the after.
calls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are the after parties of the party. Like there was a party before that, like an all white party, you
yeah,
know, and then not everybody was going to freak offs, you know. Some people was going to all white parties or like these other random parties that you throw and stuff like that. I've never
yeah,
been to any of that stuff, but like again, I listen to a lot of documentaries. Shout out to Vice, that like they would describe like before the Diddy thing came out, he was known for just having wild parties and stuff like that, bro. Like I
yeah.
don't know if you remember like Sweet 16 when his kids were on it and stuff. Like you know he was just known for
I
being
remember, yeah,
extravagant.
I remember the show Sweet 16, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think I saw
one of his
like
kids was on there.
clips. Yeah, like his
Yeah,
son.
yeah, one of his sons was on there, and I think he was like in an MTV Cribs and whatever. But like the dude was known for being extravagant and
Yeah,
like spending lots and lots of money. And Jamie Foxx is a classy dude, you know, classy, artsy dude. But he says you can have that same amount of fun just on a budget, you know. So that doesn't
mhm,
really take all this big glitz and glamour. That you can have a great time, you know, for cheap and whatever. And like that's what I really believe in is like having the most amount of fun that you can afford. Don't be any more, don't be any less than you can afford to be. And a person that I learned that from is Pat McAfee. Is
mhm.
that's a phrase that he said. I don't remember where he got it from, but that's who I got it from. Be who you can afford to be.
Okay. All right, let me ask you this next question.
Mm-hmm.
What is a habit or boundary that brings you peace of mind regarding phone communication and social media?
Honestly, he said it gives me comfort.
That gives you peace of mind.
Mm, just any feature, I would say probably the ability to go live. I feel like the ability to go live is so underrated. You can broadcast yourself like a network. If you had something going on and
Wait.
like,
Michael, no, excluding social media, like so, no TikTok, no Instagram.
oh, can you restate the question again?
Yeah, it says, what is a habit or boundary that brings you peace of mind regarding phone communication and social media? So, like, no TikTok, no Instagram, no
Mm,
live,
what is a boundary that I would set, man? What
or a
would be an
habit. Like, what is something that you do that you don't need your phone?
Oh, okay. All
Yeah, like
right,
so, no
something that I do
phones,
that I don't need the phone,
and brings you peace of mind.
meditation,
Okay.
hiking. There's times when I hike and I just put my phone down and stuff. And instead of having my phone photography, like I have a whole separate device for that type of stuff. So it's like when I have the camera in my hand, it's just a dedicated camera and it's not
Yeah.
connected to the internet. I feel a lot more connected to the camera and the images and the surroundings and
Mhm.
whatever. And then when I hike in nature and stuff, that like a lot of times I try to be present and stuff, and I try to combine all those things together by having a meditative walk, you
Yeah.
know? So that's like going for a walk and just like not even putting earbuds in, no music, no any of that. just going for a walk and just grounding yourself and just taking a breath and, hearing the sounds and stuff. That's why I like being out here. It might be annoying to some of y'all to hear like the cars and all that and whatever. But like for me to hear the birds and the water and the sounds and to be out in the city, like I
Yeah.
literally grew up in the middle of nowhere, man. I grew up in a town that had one stoplight and like there was really like nothing there, man. Like my nearest neighbor was like almost a mile away and stuff. All I could see was my house, my grandmother's house, and a gas station across the street, and then a stoplight. And
It was a small town.
that was it for a very long time, man. And now, it's a way bigger town now. But like
Mhm.
when I grew up, like I really felt like at some point that like I was gonna die in a cow patty, or whatever, and just like never be able to like go anywhere or see anything. I grew
Yeah.
up. It's ironic because like I grew up between Milwaukee and Chicago, and those are two very big cities and stuff and whatever. But like when they think about black people, they think about Chicago. They don't really think about Milwaukee, and they don't
No.
think about the areas that are in between and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff in between there. And I just didn't grow up with like a great appreciation for my area. So I always felt like I needed to leave and get up out of there and stuff. And me leaving there actually allowed me to gain a greater appreciation for the rest of the world and for that place in particular. And now there's times where like I'm like, damn, like I wish I still had that view. I wish I could go to the house and I would still look out and I would see the same type of field, the same type of cows and stuff like that. Because now there are subdivisions and things, like there's a subway at where the gas station was and stuff. And now the gas station's a corporation, where before
Mhm.
it was just a mom and pop place, and now it's part of this big corporation and stuff. It's like almost like the same as like everything becoming AI. The personability of it is just gone. It's just robot
There's a lot
message and
of
stuff.
like, there's a lot of just gentrification going on.
Gentrification, yes. And
Yeah.
it's interesting the word gentrification, like we think about that in just like white people moving to a black area. But no,
Mm.
it's also like where I grew up, it was all white people, but it was richer white people moved in, and the poorer white people had to move out. Now they can't
Yeah.
afford that area,
Mm.
and it's interesting that like things progress, but it's like, is it really progressive? Is it
That's
really,
like
did
compared
it
to
really
like
move us forward?
New York people moving from New York to New Jersey.
Right, right. That's
Yeah.
exactly the same thing. It's people from Illinois moving up to Wisconsin and whatever. And that's
Yeah.
happening all over the place. I live in Phoenix now. They say, hey, don't don't California my Arizona or whatever.
Mm.
Like they're mad because people from Southern California realize that Phoenix has a very LA feel to it. People in Vegas have realized Phoenix has some very Vegas parts to it,
Mhm.
but it's less busy. So you
Yeah.
can navigate a lot easier. It's cheaper. So you can spend a little bit more. I mean, you can spend a little bit less and get a lot more, you know?
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So now we're gonna transfer to like some questions about like committed partners and long-term relationships. You've been in a long-term relationship before, like, right?
Multiple times, yeah, multiple times.
What's the longest? The
7 years.
7 years. Okay. All right. So then the first question out of this topic is, how do you support each other's career goals without sacrificing the relationship?
Me personally, I just pay for everything
Okay.
and make sure that no matter what you have, I may pay for mostly important stuff, like,
Yeah.
the rent and whatever. I do that, as
Hmm.
a man. Um, you know, when I said everything that was like completely a misstep, like, please, girl, pay for the movies, pay for a dinner, pay for me to get a sandwich every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't need no freaking Louis Vuitton. I don't need you to really to buy all the outfits. You know what I'm saying? But like when you have that give and take of gifts and stuff like that, it's awesome. And if I'm paying the rent and stuff, then like that, I hope that takes the burden off of you and it gives you
Yeah.
financial freedom. and I'm gonna also like, you know, um, help out with like groceries and stuff like that too, so that you feel supported. And then beyond that, like I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up when you want me to show up at your work, help you move some things around or whatever. If you have a business or whatever, I'll work for you for free or whatever, just to see you shining your light, you know, because I want you at my games and stuff like that. I'm only working half the year. The other half of the year, I'm all yours. You know, when I'm doing my thing, I got to be focused. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. So I'm going to reciprocate that to you and allow you to isolate yourself and to have that focus. So it's like whatever I need to take off your plate, I'm going to take that off your plate so that you feel supported, you feel loved, you know, in the way that you need to be.
So what I'm hearing is two answers. Like it's like you're with 50-50 and at the same time you're against 50-50. Like that's what I'm hearing.
Again, duality, bro. Like I can harbor both thoughts. Like it depends on what that paycheck hit. When that paycheck hit. Because when that paycheck hit, I'm like, fuck it, bitch. Sorry, woman. We're gonna ball. But like if the paycheck ain't there, then you gotta kinda work with me, you know what I'm saying? Like shit happens, like, you know, the car breaks down, I gotta pay for that, you know? And when I pay for that and it's like $3, $4, $5, $6,000 or whatever, if I gotta buy a new one, you know, I'm gonna be down bad for maybe a month or two. So do you got me, girl? You know, I've been in relationships before where the girl didn't have nothing, you know? And like that does not help.
And you have to pay for everything.
And I had to pay for literally everything. And so I'm telling you, that don't work. Because then when shit hits the fan, she gonna leave you. Because it's all on you. But when y'all are both, you know, two different people connected together like this.
And look, those girls that will leave you and like that you have to pay everything, we call them gold diggers.
Yeah. And 50-50 and 50-50 doesn't, to me personally, 50-50 does not mean just 50% of like I'm paying half and I'm paying half. You know, that means I'm doing what I need to do to fill in. So sometimes 50 is 100, sometimes 50 is 70, you know, and it's flippity, you know, but we're going equal. We're putting in the same amount of effort, the same amount of energy. You know, we both like each other the same amount. Like, I don't know if you ever heard this concept that in a relationship, one person loves the other person more than the other.
I think I've heard it before.
Yeah. Yeah. So in a lot of relationships, you have one person who is one person who is always chasing.
Yeah.
Always chasing. Trying to grab. And the girl's like, nope. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You're not doing enough. You know, for some women, they get put in this box with a man, and they're the chaser. They're going to this guy's house. That guy's never taking them on dates. You know, and such. So the man equivalent, you're always taking that girl on dates, but then she won't be your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You're kind of just always trying to play catch up. Those are uneven relationships.
That's why they said don't chase the woman. Like have the woman chase you.
And most relationships are unequal. There's a power imbalance where somebody, you know, so when I say 50-50, I mean the power, the influence, and the give and take in the relationship. Financially, that's up in the air. Like how much we got to pay for this and that. That's situational. That's what we agree upon. It's free game. Yeah. Because I'm telling you, you can convince me to do more. You can convince me to do less. But like personally, like if we both if in a perfect situation, we both want to live our best life. So you got to contribute. How can we both live good if it's just all on me? We can't. But if we're two ballers balling together, then we're a team for real. You know?
But it like traditionally, like the woman like would think that like you're the man, so you have to pay for everything.
Yeah. So like how is a tradition gonna work in modern times?
Yeah.
Like if we live, it depends on where you live. So like if I was living out here where things are cheaper, I had an apartment up on that hill, and that thing cost. It was like $70. No, not 70. It was $700 a month.
Okay, that's good.
That's really good.
So,
I'm paying
compared
it
to
all.
like how
I'm
much
paying it.
we have to pay for rent like now is like up to like 2,000, like 1,500 to 2,000, like or
Yeah.
no 1,500 to 2,500. I mean,
And I'm sure
that's
I
the
could get
range.
that. I'm sure I could get that apartment back for like either the same price or something ranging from there to like 850. You know,
Yeah,
out here it's cheaper, but I live in
mm,
Arizona,
yeah,
so like if my rent's 2,500, you know, then like if I pay all that, then you got to come with some groceries or something else, you know. And if you ain't coming with that, then like you should be paying for a few nights out or something, you
mm,
know, because like that's just it's just it's just not feasible. But if I get you pregnant or whatever, then yeah, I'll do it all.
yeah,
Because honestly, personally, the way that I feel is if a girl's having your child, then yeah, you got to pay for everything, this, that, and the third,
yeah. Because
110%.
you're bringing a life, like a new life, like into the world, and like that new life is gonna need a lot of like responsibility
Hell
and a lot
yeah,
of
bro.
attention.
Hell yeah, bro. And then also the fact that like if you got her pregnant and stuff like that, that like that's gonna be she might die.
Yeah,
There's serious mortality rate in giving birth. Like the chances of her dying while giving birth or having some serious complication, her body either
mm-hmm,
way will never be the same, you know?
yeah,
But also at the same time, like I would appreciate her giving me the chance to tell her like, hey, I might not want a child because
mm-hmm,
I don't want to get on child support if like me and you don't work out, you
yeah,
know? Again, duality. Because don't say
yeah.
I'm an evil person for the one thing and then say I'm a good guy for the other one. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a person, you know, and as a
You
person,
know what's a you know what? Wait, I'm sorry. You know what's a good movie? Like, it's two good movies. One is Jersey Girl, and the other one, Kevin Hart made it. It's called Fatherhood. Like, those are two good emotional like movies. Like where like the woman dies accidentally like during childbirth, and like the father has to like put all the work in like for that child, and like it's very emotional.
the one that always gets to me though is Juno. Do you know
Juno? Okay.
Juno? Yeah.
I never watched it. I saw clips and bits. I never like saw the full movie.
It's an amazing movie, dude. And it really
Mm-hmm.
like makes you understand like what could happen to a young girl if she just got pregnant by some random dude, you know? Like it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I got this whole thing going on. You know, in the movie Juno, I don't mind spoiling it for y'all because the movie's so freaking old if you haven't seen it. And even if
Yeah.
I describe it the way I describe things, man, you're either gonna want to go see it or you're gonna be thankful that I already just told you the end, you know?
Yeah.
Like she gets pregnant and then she's like, what am I gonna do with it? And she ends up like being a surrogate. So like she ends up trying to give the baby up for adoption and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and she like works during the time when she's pregnant. She works with the family on like preparing to like give birth and stuff. And it's actually kind
Yeah.
of strange because she develops like a relationship with like the guy who was in the relationship, the guy who was married to this to his wife, who are gonna receive the baby,
Yeah.
and those two people end up going in a divorce,
Okay.
and they still get the baby at the end.
Okay. So
Yeah.
do does the girl that gave up the baby for adoption end up with the guy that's married, or no?
No,
Okay.
no. And like during the whole movie, it's like, will they get together? Is he being a creep? It's a lot. It teaches you a lot as a man. Like it shows you like how a creepy man's being, but then also it makes you think like, is he really being creepy? Like you gotta really like question. Like it makes you question like how men approach women, what is an appropriate relationship and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so like it just kind of gets the ball rolling on like as a man, like who am I gonna approach and when am I gonna approach them? Like what's appropriate and what's not appropriate and stuff. And you see the cost that man took was he lost his wife,
Mm-hmm.
you know? and he didn't really do anything. I don't remember him doing anything that was like really crazy or anything, but he lost his wife, so like it was like, was it worth it? You know? And then you have to think like, was his wife being petty? You know, or was she like standing on business? You know?
Yeah, like
And
was she
it's
being
really
loyal?
like, yeah, was she being disloyal for leaving him, or was she like, you know, doing the best for herself? And then like that movie really should, like, I don't think it should have a follow up, but it's like one of those movies where you think about like, oh, what would have happened in the life after, you know?
Alright. So we have question of the day, and then we're gonna get into the actual show. So the question of the day is: would you still love your girl if she was bald?
No, no, I'm just
Why?
kidding.
Oh wait. So wait, no or yes?
Kind of.
Okay, so like
It's like what?
elaborate.
It's like what? Yo, like, is she just? Oh man, have you ever seen the movie
Look,
Clueless?
no.
Dude, so like in the movie Clueless, have you ever seen the show Scrubs?
Bits and pieces.
But you know there's a black guy in Scrubs and he's a surgeon.
Yeah, yeah,
So in the movie Clueless, the surgeon, black guy, he's like a guy in high school, right? And he's got his girlfriend is Stacey Dash. You know who Stacey Dash is?
yeah. I know Clueless. Like I saw
So
the
yeah, that's what
trailer.
I'm saying. But
But
let me just
I didn't see.
but it's
I
fine,
don't
it's
know what
fine.
the description.
Let me
Yeah.
just explain this scene. So in this
Okay.
one scene, right, she like walks in and Buddy's shaving his head. Before that,
Yeah.
he had hair. But
Yeah.
after that, he never had hair again.
Hmm.
And it's funny because like that was a character, but like I don't remember like I remember seeing that guy in other things and he had hair, but then he
Yeah.
shaved his head and he never had hair again.
Hmm.
And she walks in the bathroom, she's like, I'm calling your mom on you and telling her that you just shaved your head.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Yeah.
that would be my reaction. Like I'm like, bro, like you're making a really crazy decision, like to the point where like I need to tell your peoples like what is up, like we need to check on you, like maybe we need to see like what's going on there. Like I would feel that same way if like my girl dyed her hair like a super different color, but at the same time there's wigs, bro, so you know, and people get things like alopecia and stuff and whatever, so if she just
Yeah.
develops some condition and then it all fell out, like if she got chemo or whatever, I'm not leaving her, you know, like that or
Okay.
whatever. Like, you know, if she just develops something or whatever, like we're really locked in or whatever, like even if we're not, like I would, you know, be empathetic towards that situation, you know, and try to like move with grace and empathy and try to give her love and support and stuff.
Mm.
But if she was just like on some wild shit, shaved her
Like
head,
she
and she
wants
was
to have
just
like
on,
a natural look. Like she want to be like different. Like that wouldn't like let you like keep the relationship going.
listen, bro, it's like if she was like, if she was like, if she just went and got like a BBL or whatever, I'd feel the
Yeah.
same way. If
Okay.
she went and bought a dog, if
Wait a
she
minute. How is that similar? I'm sorry.
big
How is
life
that similar?
dog, big life changes without discussions. Like if you live
Because
over at your house and that
you
dog is
shaving your
living at your
hair.
house,
You shaving your
listen,
hair and a BBL is way different.
hey, hey,
Like you're getting surgery for that BBL. You're just using a razor like
yeah.
to shave. So I don't see a similarity in that.
If she lives at her house, you know, it, that's fine. The dog's gonna
Yeah.
go to the place.
Yeah.
That's how, and then that's whatever. Like that's her dog. Like whatever. But if
Yeah.
we're living together and you just buy some fucking dog,
Mhm.
like, and you bring that shit here without us having a discussion,
Yeah.
now I have some that's like you just bringing a kid and being like, this is Jamal. He's
Yeah.
your son now.
Yeah.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Seriously.
No, he's not. That's just somebody
Yeah.
else's kid. Ma'am,
Yeah.
take that somewhere else. Like, what are you
watched
talking
Martin?
about? Huh? Nah.
You watched oh you
Nah. I grew up in a
but
white family, so.
you never
Nah,
saw
but
Martin.
I saw like bits and pieces. Yeah, I never watched. I've never seen a
No.
whole. I know. I don't listen. I don't want to get kicked out of the black community. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
You know, and like I really like appreciate other things, but like Martin, you know, to me, it just wasn't on. Like, it wasn't on during the times when I watched it or whatever. I didn't
Mhm.
really watch it, but I've seen like Sanford and Sons. I've seen Living Color. But Martin is something that like I need to watch more because like when I would watch it, I'd be like, this is kind of goofy. I don't really get it. But
Yeah.
I watched like Martin Lawrence stand up.
Yeah.
Like hell yeah. Like and then like the people that were in it and stuff, you know, like to me were some of like the greatest people. But when they were in other stuff, you know,
Yeah.
so like I would definitely, like I said, also about the music,
You gotta watch the show. You gotta watch Martin
but
the
that's what I'm
show.
saying
Like,
is I
yeah.
must watch the show because I can appreciate other things that came out of the show, you
Yeah.
know, and then like other shows that were similar to that. Like I liked, um, what was the Wayne's brother one
The
that he had?
the Wayans brothers.
No, what was the one? It was after the Wayne's brothers, but it was a similar show to Martin, but it was like it was a family thing. It was shot the same way, and it even had like one of the girls, the light skinned girl that was like Martin's girlfriend. She was the wife in that show
Oh,
or
my
whatever.
wife, my wife and kids.
That's what I'm talking about. Like I like My Wife and Kids and other things like that, and I felt like
Yeah.
she did a great job in that. So like she was funny in that, so she would be even funnier in Martin because she was in Martin a lot. She was like a more prominent character in Martin. She was a very
Yeah.
prominent character in that show too, but she probably
Mhm.
got off a little bit more funnier in Martin, you know, and she probably was doing some different stuff that was probably funnier, you know.
Yeah.
And then like other people like wasn't Jamie Foxx in that too?
And my wife and kids.
No, in Martin. There was a lot of really
Martin?
famous people in Martin.
No. I don't think
There's a
Jamie was
few.
ever in Martin. You had Tracy Morgan.
Tracy
You
Morgan.
had who else? Jackie Chan.
Really?
Yeah. I can't. Those are the only two people I can name.
But
But yeah.
but I just know that like there was
Oh,
other
Chris
people.
Rock. Chris Rock too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like there's people that were in it, and then there's like things like there's like other things that were created by those same creators, like
Mhm.
Martin and his cat, like the people that wrote and stuff for him, that I think that I'd appreciate. So like I definitely could appreciate that show too. I should watch it.
Yeah. So wait. So basically, let me ask you this. So would you date somebody that was bald? Like you can't do bald woman.
But I wouldn't want to date somebody that's bald. That's all I'm gonna say. Like I would choose, like if I
Even
have a
if she was
choice.
thick, she was bald and thick.
If she was bald and thick, you got me yelling bald and thick downtown. But
Like seriously, that's a good combination. Bald and thick. That's Amber Rose right
how
there.
much?
Like
Why is bald and thick? Why? Listen, let me come to the dark side. What
mhm.
is? Why is bald and thick the
Yeah.
thing? Because you could rub
Look.
on it, or like what? Because
Nah, it's
girls
just
got
like
hair, she ain't letting you. That's not often she letting you pull that shit.
yeah, you can't
But
really
if you
do
got a
anything
head, you
with
can
a
just
bald
like
chick.
get
Yeah,
some
that's like
leverage.
yeah.
Nah. I mean, maybe if I could like rub it for good luck, you know what I'm saying? Or if
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, maybe if I wanted to start a fire, I could grease it up, shine it up, you know, and then point it. It should light like
Yeah.
so for like maybe if I needed to like shine some light off of it, you know, to
Yeah.
like get Batman over here, and I'm like, yo, like like if you need like an
Yeah.
SOS signal or something like that.
I get what
I could be into
you
that, you know, I could be into that, you know.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like maybe the top part of the head. Cause I've never felt one. Maybe it had like a nice texture to it. You know what I'm saying? But like when you mean bald, do you mean like nothing, or you mean like super low cut? Cause like
Like I get both. Like yeah, like low cut and basically like it's shining. Like
wait, hold on. Let me
it
put this
gives you
out
like
there because I just remember this is a podcast. So
yeah.
if you are bald and thick, you know, hit me up and let's see where this can go. You know, I'm just gonna say
Okay.
I'm open to it because
Mm.
like I've never done that. And I was
Yeah.
thinking like, nah, but like I am a pretty empathetic person, and like I've let people be wild in other ways. So like it really wouldn't make any sense. Like being bald and thick is not really that big of an issue. We can be bald and
All
skinny.
right.
You know, maybe
So
we'll
look,
try that out or whatever. I've never tried that.
ladies out
Yeah,
there, like
bald
Michael, all
women,
right? He looking for bald and thick, okay?
bald
Like I
women,
said,
bald and
if
thick.
you looking like if you looking like Amber Rose, like that's what he's looking like, okay? So
That's
hit
what
up
you're looking for.
him.
Amber
It's his
Rose
all
or
platforms.
four or five shades in between, in between those degrees. You can be darker,
Mm,
lighter, 4 or 5 shades in both directions. We doing it.
okay, all
You
right.
got to have some melanation though.
Seriously.
Amber Rose has a little
Wait,
bit, right? Or is she completely
no, she
white? I
black.
don't even know. Yeah, that's what I'm
She
saying.
black.
You gotta have some melanation. That's it.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I don't think she's no. Amber Rose
Cause
is not white. Like
I ain't dating, bro. I ain't
she
dating
might
no
be
bald
mixed.
white lady. I ain't dating no bald white lady.
Wait, but yeah, how do you feel like about like snow bunnies? Like you don't go for that?
I can't say I don't go for that because I have gone for that in the past. But because I
Okay.
have gone for that in the past, I'm not trying to do that in the future. So based on my past, yes and no, because I'm not trying to move forward with that. Like I want
Mm,
my children to kind of look like me a little bit.
yeah.
I had a premonition in my last relationship. I woke up and I realized I'm like, bro, my kids are not gonna look like me at all. Like I was cool with it and whatever, and I tried to be empathetic towards her way of life. And again, I grew up with like all white people,
Yeah.
so like I'm not racist. Like I like white people. I feel like white culture is cool and whatever. I don't feel like white culture definitely doesn't need to step on the toes of black culture. The past is the past. I got older brothers that they say Southern pride and shit like that. I ain't going that far. I ain't going
Mm,
that far. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? But I think that like I can appreciate like the gang culture of my grandfather and be like, that was art. That wasn't just graffiti.
yeah.
Those were inspirational sayings like grow and develop, GD. You know, they used to like some people call that gangsters disciples or whatever, but like other people call it grow and develop. So some people remember the Civil War and whatever as like as like something to be revered or whatever. I look at the gang culture something as something similar to me. So it's almost like a wash on that end. As long as like I'm not trying to use, as long as they're not trying to use their culture to squash my culture, and me vice versa. Because I'm just looking at it as culture or whatever. I'm not looking at it as like my side versus your side. You know what I'm saying? And so
Got
like
you.
I can appreciate white people and what they have to offer, but I feel like there's a certain amount of people that don't have sympathy towards the black plight. And because of growing up in America, like maybe if she was a foreigner, like she was from South Africa and she grew up like straight up like with the Africans or
Yeah.
something or whatever, maybe. But I don't think I could get with an American white girl. No, I don't think I
Okay.
could do it again.
All right. All right. So let's get into the outro. And then with the outro,
It's a
you're
crazy
gonna
last question, but all right.
you yeah. You're gonna go into closure. Okay, so basically you're gonna say like a message or like a words of wisdom for our audience members and viewers about the topic that we just talked about relationships. All right, so you have the floor, and also include anything currently going on in your life and any upcoming events or projects, and if you want to include shout outs as well. So all of that in your outro. You got the floor.
Okay. My closing thought would be to, like I said before in this show, to be who you can afford. That
Mm-hmm.
means to understand your value, understand your worth. That doesn't mean believe that you can just jump off a building and fly. That doesn't mean that you need to walk inside your boss's office and slap him in the face. That means you need to walk in accordance with what's going to get you, you know, in divine alignment, in accordance with receiving the most amount of blessings that you can in life. You know,
Yeah.
that means if you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, act professional. You know,
Mm-hmm.
If you're a construction worker or whatever, learn that craft, become skilled, become a skilled tradesman. Whatever it is that you do it to the best of your ability. And when you need to go charge people, when you need somebody to come and they're like, how much are you worth? Know what that dollar amount is and stand on that business.
Okay. All right. And then anything currently going on in your life? Any upcoming events, projects?
Upcoming events and projects. I play in the AF1, which is the Arena Football League 1. We are on Vice, and we're also on YouTube. We have games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can either watch them or you can probably go to them locally. I would employ anybody to go to those games, and to check it out. It's some cheap, fun entertainment. Like I said, it's different than the NFL because the scoring and all that happens fast. So it's a lot of movement. It's not as much of commercials and whatever and all that. And it doesn't cost so much. It's free on YouTube and on Vice. Like if you already have subscription on like Yahoo or whatever, then you get to watch that for free. And on some TV channels and stuff, it's like up in the hundreds. So like it's like usually channel 120 or whatever. But look for that. Look for it on the Vice Network or Vice Sports on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the other thing that I have got going on is that I recently was on Pop the Balloon. You can go and watch that. You can go check out on Pop the Balloon. Pop the Balloon was a great experience, and anybody who feels like they want to attract something, or they just want to go have a fun experience and go meet some really cool people and maybe find some love, go and apply for that show. It was a really cool experience for me personally, and it has brought me a lot of attention from a lot of really cool people. So I've had a lot of really great experiences, and also like it really opened up my eyes to a lot of different things in this social media world and stuff. And it's really made me like kind of like step outside of my step outside of my body a little bit, because I watched myself and I was like, you know what? I feel too reserved on the camera, and I need to work on like being a bit personable like you're seeing today.
Okay. All right. And then let me ask you this about the Pop the Balloon or Find Love. Did you go on there for true love or exposure? And the second question is, would you do it again?
Hell yeah, I'd do it again. I was forced to do it by my friend.
Okay.
I have a friend that she's a girl, and she really feels like, that I'm an attractive person and that I'm a kind person, and that like I should be attracting, more people to me.
Yeah.
And, she just believed that situation would allow me to find love. Me personally, I had been on a few other YouTube things and whatever. And like, I really wasn't like thinking like, oh, I'm going to find love because of this, but then I got there and I talked to some of the other guys and stuff, and I really saw how genuine they were about it, and they had actually been fans of the show, and that really changed my mind. And and that's why like on the show I'm kind of like nervous, because I'm like, oh crap, like this is for real,
Yeah.
And so like I was really just thinking like during the whole entire time about all these past negative experiences that I've had in my past of like those relationships, and just not trying to project a person that's been damaged and hurt, because like I do want to grow and I have grown a lot, and I want to find somebody, and like a lot of times as men, we're just so nervous to put ourselves out there, because we're like, what are people going to react to? Anybody's nervous about that, but then I'm a college football coach. So like one thing I thought about was, can I go there and get rejected and have a good reaction?
Yeah.
And it was like, yes, I can, So it was a positive experience. I would definitely do it again. I definitely went there thinking that like I was kind of like forced to do it and stuff, but I genuinely felt like putting myself out there would allow me to either meet somebody at that moment or have somebody come to me, you know, and it really has had a lot of people reach out to me, and I appreciate that. I haven't found the one just yet, but it's like only been like 2 weeks or whatever since my episode aired and stuff. And like, I really like, sorry guys that I yawned. I've been, I was just, you know, I've been doing practice and working out and stuff and doing all that all day. So like, I'm pretty freaking tired, but, yeah, it was a really great experience. I definitely would do it again. And I really did want to find love. And every freaking time I leave my house, you know, as a man and as like a person in this modern day age, like every time you leave the house, if you're single, bro, you should be looking around. Like you shouldn't be a predator or whatever. But if you see an attractive woman and she looks like she is approachable or whatever, or she catches the eye to you and she gives you a certain look, like go say something to her. Like, why not? You got to be brave, bro. Like for the sake of like, yeah, but like honestly, like think about it, bro. Like a selection of a mate is important, bro. Like the next generations and whatever. Like if that girl's athletic, if that girl's good looking, you know what I'm saying? When you look at your grandkids, you're gonna be like, thank God, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to wake up every day and have the experience of feeling like I was almost gonna say Michael Jackson because like the mother like that dude had a freaking you know, he looked up when he woke up and he looked out, the man had a whole carnival at his house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's lit. That part is lit. You know, I want to wake up and I want her to feel like that to me. That I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad that I get to live this life and wake up and see you. You know? And I truly feel like every day, every time you leave your house as a single man, you have that potential to see that. And if you, I mean, to get that. And if you go out and you see somebody and they look approachable and stuff, approach them. And if you get rejected, whatever. There's so many people out there. You just got to get used to doing that. You got used to taking the shots, like Kobe said. And if you make it, you make it. If you miss, you miss. But you got to keep on shooting them shots. And don't be afraid to freaking. Hey, yo, I want to change my I want to change my thing to. Don't be afraid to shoot. And when you shoot, and when you aim for something, aim high. So when you miss, you still hit a very high target, and maybe something you never even would have thought of. You know what I'm saying? But it's still gonna be something that's up there. You just gotta aim high, high, high. And then when you fall, you ain't gonna fall all the way to the ground. You ain't gonna fall all the way to the bottom. You're still gonna hit a high rung. You're still gonna hit a high bar.
You have any shout outs you want to give? I know you gave one to Robert Weiss earlier. Do you have
Yep.
any other shout outs?
Um. I'd like to give a shout out to the to the Monsters, the Minnesota Monsters. I'd like to give a shout out to AF1 football. I would love to give a shout out to indoor football. That's the IFL. That's where I started. I'd like to give a shout out to Ottawa, Arizona University. I'd like to give a shout out to Yuba Community College, UW Whitewater. You know, and like what I would like to tell people is use institution to really find yourself. You know, that when you attach yourself to these different institutions or programs or whatever, that you can really find yourself and your true identity being a part of a team and being a part of a unit. And I'm happy that I've gone through the experiences that I've gone through. And I'm happy that I've gone to all the different colleges that I've went to because they gave me a unique experience. I maybe didn't go to a big Division I university. I'm at ASU right now. But like I didn't play sports at that university and stuff. And but it was still an amazing experience and I wouldn't trade that for the world. And those things gave me a refuge from like the things that I went through in the military and stuff. And it helped me identify like who I really wanted to be and helped me cultivate friend circles and also help cultivate my mind.
Just say thank you for your service,
Mhm.
for being in the military, for the time that you were in there. I do appreciate you coming on this podcast episode and speaking your piece. if you wanna come on for a second episode, I'll be glad and willing. We have each other's contacts. All right. So again, I do appreciate you coming on this podcast episode because it is hard trying to find people to come and
come
speak
on.
your
Yeah.
piece. Yeah. So I do appreciate you coming on.
I would
here
like to. I would
and
definitely like to
talking.
elaborate more on like porn addiction and like what addiction is and addiction in general. You know, and I feel like that would be a really great topic to be able to speak a bit more on.
Okay, so
Like
we could
how.
definitely put that like for episode for the future. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, let's definitely talk about it.
So
It's a topic that a lot of people don't want to touch.
got you. All right. So I want to say, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We post you shit to all social media platforms, and like how we always say, the truth that set you free, and it's a wrap.